Loud, bada bing. On the count of three, 3, 2, 1. Good to go, Jane.
All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to our Pitch for Good Nashville Edition. And we are thrilled to be in partnership with Dell for Entrepreneurs as we are joining you today. I am Jane Allen. I am the CEO of the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, and I have the privilege to serve and Pitch for Good. Just to give you a little context, guys, let's think back. April of 2020. I know we don't really want to go back there, but that's where our leadership team, our community was talking. And it's like, man, entrepreneurship rises and shines during challenging times. And God, we are in a challenging time. So we decided to be able to shine a little light on our entrepreneurial community. And Pitch for Good was the brainchild from our leadership team of how do we shine a light in our entrepreneurs who are working every day to create wonderful solutions to help solve our problems. And so Pitch for Good was created. And now we still are continuing to lift the voices and shine a light on our entire community of entrepreneurs. Now, I said I have the privilege of serving the Nashville Entrepreneur Center. A little bit about us. We are a nonprofit organization founded in 2010 right here in Nashville to support people and businesses through all phases of that entrepreneurial life cycle and help support our economy and hopefully create or help create prosperity for all. As a nonprofit organization, the EC's work is made possible because of generous donations of time, money, and other resources from a variety of support levels and partners, including individuals like our own Mignon, who is on our board, and businesses like Dell and local, state, and federal government. We are grateful to all of our partners and to Dell for Entrepreneurs partnering with us as a part of a larger partner pitch competition and providing value to our entrepreneurial community. So not only do they provide financial support, but they also give us time and they share their expertise with our entrepreneurs. And so thank you. And our judges here today, thank you for serving. None of this would be possible without the support of other sponsors, specific for Pitch for Good, the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, GP Sources, Dell Technologies, and Launch Tennessee. Thank you again for your incredible support. And now I'd like to hand it over to YJ with Dell to say hello and share a bit about the larger pitch competition series.
Absolutely. So our pitch competition series, we are partnering up with 9 different partners, one of them including y'all as well, to really celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship. And this is really what we do at Dell for Entrepreneurs with the program managers such as myself, Lucas, and Marcus Savain, who you all probably are working really close with. Really, it starts with the story of Michael Dell, how he first started his business in his dorm room at University of Texas. And really, the focus was how can we empower people to make sure they have the right tools and technologies to empower them to drive human progress. And the way that Dell Technologies is structured, we have so many different companies under our portfolio of services to help support every single modern IT infrastructure block that you would like to do. So for us, the first step is understanding your business. We love to understand what it is that you're trying to do, figure out what your needs are. What is it that we can do to help make sure every single person in your company feels empowered and is able to maximize their potential, whether it's using certain tools, whether it's using certain solutions, whether it's incorporating technology, but it always starts from the human element of your business. And lastly, at the end of the day, what we like to do, and I'm skipping ahead, lastly, what we like to do is to help promote our companies together through our media channels, whether it's through Entrepreneur, VentureBeats, or TechCrunch. But the idea is that we want to make sure we assign you with a dedicated business advisor, or if you're working on something that our corporate innovation team could work on, or if it's something our Dell Tech Capital team could invest in. That team invests in over $200 million a year on specifically enterprise technology solutions. So whatever it is that you are trying to work on, we have tons of initiatives within Dell to help support your initiative. So next slide, what that program management is from the Dell for Entrepreneurs view is you have program managers such as myself, Lucas, and Marcus that has entrepreneurial experience. I can understand the things that you're going through. We want to make sure you guys have a dedicated startup advisor. We have a team that can help you with your technology development cycles. We have an OEM team, which really works with a lot of hardware technology solutions with mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, helping them with go-to-market strategies. So tons of experience that we can provide from you from our side. And ultimately, at the end of the day, is to make sure that you guys have the flexibility you have to be able to grow and scale your businesses. Lastly, if you just want to learn more about what we do with NEC, feel free to reach us out at startups@dell.com or visit our landing page at dell.com/startups. And if you would like to see what we are doing specifically with NEC and some of the benefits that we have provided with this community, go to dell.com/NEC. And we're more than happy to talk to you and share some of the resources that we have so that you can continue working on your startups and who knows, take over the world someday. So it's a pleasure. And thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you, YJ. Really grateful to have you and the whole Dell Technologies team here. And I will also say Dell is hugely supportive of us at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, getting our house in order when it comes to hardware and technology, because we had a hard time getting going, and then y'all came in and helped us. So thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Bryn Plummer. I'm the Vice President of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Relations at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center. And along with Jane, I'm really fortunate to get to work with so many people in economic and community development and entrepreneurship here in Nashville, Tennessee, whether they're entrepreneurs, policymakers, business leaders, or just general champions of the Nashville spirit of supporting and buying local. Today, I will be supporting us as your host as we go through this experience and hoping to get a little bit from each entrepreneur and each of our panelists and judges who are here to support us. So hope you'll get to know me a bit, of course, our entrepreneurs a bit, and quite a bit of our judges here on the panel. So I'm going to introduce some of the folks that we have here. Some names are new and some names will be very familiar to you. So first, we've got Jeremy Lee, who is the CEO and owner of GP Sources. And we'll get to talk to them. We'll get to talk to this one from GP Sources a little bit later on. So thank you, Jeremy, for being here. We have Lucas Chayadelpino, who's from Dell Technologies. And Lucas, I believe we had a conversation about two and a half years ago when you were just getting to know the Nashville Entrepreneur Center and sharing with us the vision of Dell for Entrepreneurs. So it's so great to see you again. We have Henry Pyle, who's a senior manager and Dell Nashville site director. And for those of you who don't know, Dell has a huge presence here in Nashville. So we're excited to see you, Henry. And then finally, Mignon Francois, who is the founder and director of Joy, which I love that title, of the Cupcake Collection over in Germantown, the little purple house in Germantown. If you've never been, what are you doing? Please make your way over to the Cupcake Collection. So thank you, all four of you, for being here. And we will get to talk with each of you a little bit later on during our judging time. So let's move on a bit to some of the ground rules and housekeeping. So how this works, clearly this is a webinar, so you won't be able to talk, but you can participate by keeping things going in the chat. So any reactions, anything you want to share, feedback on any of the pitches, please put that in the chat. It's a great way to participate and get to know some of the other people who are here in the audience as well. This event is being recorded, as you can see, so we can share it in all its glory on our YouTube page afterwards. And then the second, I'll tell you a little bit more about what an elevator pitch is. But today, each of the entrepreneurs who's on the call will have 1 minute to pitch their business, what we call an elevator pitch. Then there will be 2 minutes of judge Q&A that we will time and keep track of. And then at the end, we will have an audience vote. There are also prizes that will go along with this pitch competition. So the first place winner in the up and running category, the more advanced of our 2 categories, will receive $6,000 in Dell products, which can go a tremendously long way when you're first getting off the ground. They will move on to the final stage of that larger pitch competition that YJ referenced, and they will also receive a $2,000 financial grant. Our launch judge winner, so this is someone whose business is between about 0 and 25,000 in annual revenue, who's just getting their idea off the ground, will get $4,000 in Dell products, as well as a $2,000 financial grant. And then finally, the crowd favorite, that's where your audience vote comes in. That person will receive an EC scholarship to the program of their choosing. So as you can see, lots of different prizes, ways that we are not just rewarding compelling ideas, but also making it exciting and compelling for someone to stand up and become an entrepreneur and telling them, hey, we really admire what you're doing. It's not easy, but we really admire what you're doing and we believe in you. So let's move on just a second here to talk about some of these pitches. As I mentioned, this is an elevator pitch. So imagine you get on an elevator and you have from floor 0 to floor 20 to compel the person in your elevator. Let's say it's Mignon Francois, person with you on the elevator, to invest in your idea. So it's no slides, no diagrams, no prototypes, You just have your story and the vision that you've laid out for your company to share with that person. So we've got 60 seconds for each of the teams to pitch. We'll be going in alphabetical order to make it a little bit more organized and fair as we get going. So in the launch category, we have College Leaps, IndoShunt, and My Bag, My Story. Those are the first three companies that we're going to see today. And then in the up and running category, in the 25K to 25K and above category, we've got Community Connexer, Newly, and Think Native. We're going to begin with the launch teams in just a second. So I'm going to just make sure we have everyone we need here to be on. Okay, so launch up first will be College Leap. So let's see. Angie, are you on?
I'm here.
Perfect. And there's no lag on anyone's individual presenting or anything. When we make someone a panelist, it takes a second for them to come aboard. So if there's 1.5 to 3 seconds of lag time, bear with us. All right, Angie, the floor is yours. I'm gonna put your minute on and feel free to start. Just say I'm ready or say, okay, or just start and I'll start coming. Okay, take it away.
Hi, my name is Angie Allen, CEO and co-founder of College Leaps. As we know, one indicator of an amazing city is the education level of its citizens. Last year, Metro Nashville Public Schools graduates, only 46.9% of them began college. I've been a teacher here for over 15 years. I know this isn't because students don't have college dreams. It's because the process to access college is so arduous and complicated. So at College Leaps, we've created a way for this process to be easier to understand and to complete. By walking students from their freshman year of high school all the way to their first day of college, we're giving them assurance that they're following the correct steps and that they're accessing everything in one place, which breaks down a lot of access and equity barriers. College Leaps was created out of the heart, mind, and experience of two teachers who saw countless students give up on this process due to lack of guidance and assistance. Our mobile app provides that guidance and assistance in a very easy to access format. So we asked the Nashville community to join us as we are going to create more access and more equity in the college admissions process. Thank you.
Angie, a perfect minute. Congratulations. And we're really excited to hear more about College Leaps. So you're our first pitcher today. So we'll use you as a model for how all of them are going to go. So as you all saw, Angie had a minute to pitch. And now we'll hand off to our judges, and our judges will have about 2 minutes to ask questions of Angie. And they can ask questions about her business model, how far she is into the process, some early successes, questions about the future, kind of whatever they want to know about this business and where it's going and where it's headed. All right, judges, I'm going to hand it off to you. And once the first judge begins asking their question, I will start the timer.
So how are you going to get it into the hands of the students? I graduated 7 children out of high school into college, and each one of them had a different challenge. How is College Leaps going to serve each one of those children differently?
That's a great question. One way we really hope to lay out the process for just in general, right? But one way that we want to create more of an individualized journey is for students to onboard with their specific characteristics, their specific needs. And that way we generate scholarships that fit them. We generate schools that fit them. That is something that we definitely want. We're not there yet, but that is in our vision for sure. We want it to be very individualized for students so that we know every student doesn't have the same opportunities, but we want to make sure that we provide them the opportunities that are for them specifically. So once they do that, like onboarding, then everything is tailored to them. And we also want to have a teacher dashboard where students can be tracked by their teachers and counselors to help them when they get stuck. So if we see that they've applied to 5 schools and they haven't followed through with the last part of their application, someone can come in and be like, what's wrong? Well, how can we help you here? So we give out the plan, but then they still may have some questions and assistance that they need because it is so complicated. So.
I have another question. What are your plans for monetizing it? Are you planning to charge the students or the parents or charge like colleges? Or what are your?
Yeah, we plan to charge schools and school systems after we create this teacher dashboard that we will be able to. We've talked with Metro Nashville once so far about actually getting that into the hands of students so that they can have a way to track their students better, because they're not tracked very well right now. And that way also we'll be able to provide them an opportunity for the teachers and counselors to have more of a hands-on experience with all the students. So that's how we plan to monetize this, by selling it to the schools and school districts.
All right, that is the end of our time for questions for Angie. And I know 2 minutes flies by. So if you have additional questions, Angie will still be on. So you can ask Angie your questions. You can send her a DM if that's possible. And Angie, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for building College Leaps. It sounds like we desperately need it here in Nashville. So thank you. Bye, Angie. All right, up next, we've got Olivia Busk from IndoShunt. Looks like Olivia has been elevated to panelist, which is great. Olivia, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. And sound is great. Light is great for you. I think you're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and start your minute once you begin speaking. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Olivia Busk. Picture this. You log out of this meeting and rush to grab a coffee before your next call. You're crossing your busy street, and before you can look up, you're struck by an SUV. You're rushed to the hospital with internal bleeding, and your bleeding is too fast. The surgeons can't make repairs, and unfortunately, you're out of time. This situation is playing out across the US and including the world, making hemorrhage the #1 cause of preventable death. You may hear preventable and think that that only means we can prevent what caused your injury. But after speaking with over 150 of the nation's top trauma surgeons, including the 2 on my team, I realized preventable is the moment they look at their patient, painfully aware that they have all the capabilities to save them, but just not enough time. We all know the only thing you can't buy is time, but you can buy EndoShunt, and that's a pretty close second. EndoShunt is a minimally invasive tool to safely reroute blood away from an injury while maintaining blood flow, unlike any other device on the market. A nation of trauma surgeons and the Nashville community is eager to prevent death from hemorrhage, and I hope you are too. Thank you.
Wonderful. 1 minute exactly. I love when that happens. You and Angie are already 2 for 2. So now we have 2 minutes for the judges to ask you questions about EndoShunt. Also, I had no idea that hemorrhaging was such a common
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, it makes sense, but
Here we are to help it.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I learned something every day about healthcare in this town from the people in it. So, all right, judges, you have 2 minutes to ask questions of Olivia about EndoShunt.
Hey, Olivia, there are a lot of approvals that have to happen for medical devices or medical procedures like yours to come to market. Where are you in that process?
So we are pre-FDA approval, which is why we don't have revenue yet. We're actually continuing to manufacture certain elements of the device to be able to be used in combat situations and longer transport times. And we're doing that before our animal trials, which will lead us into FDA approval, hopefully in the spring of next year. I think Jeremy has
Yes, I've got a question. So is this a product that you would sell that would be sold directly to the paramedics, or who would this be? Who is your target audience on this?
Our customer, as I said, we're speaking to 150 of them, are really the nation's trauma surgeons who are really excited about finding ways to control hemorrhage that allow them to save these patients. So it's purchased through the hospital and put into the hands of trauma surgeons, and they have a lot of sway in the hospital purchasing that. And so it's not a consumer product, it's all channeled as a medical device.
Is there a competitor in the market right now?
So somewhat, we originally thought they were a competitor, but the more we've learned about it, I think they're just the other endovascular trauma tool in the market. They essentially fully occlude blood flow. So they don't allow any blood down. If it's put into your aorta, if you have an injury, all blood flow stops, which is why that tool can't be used for longer than 20 minutes, which is why I say that trauma surgeons don't have enough time to do these definitive repairs without serious complications for the patients.
All right, I believe that is the end of our time for questions. Olivia, thank you so much. And thank you for telling us about this niche part of healthcare that I was not aware of, and I'm sure many of us were not aware of. So
Yes, thank
so
you.
much. Enjoy your day. I mean, stay on the call, but we'll see you really soon. All right, up next, we've got Kara Finger. Kara, let's see if you are out there. Looks like she's getting elevated right now. All right, Kara, we can see you, your icon here. There we are. All right, Kara. And are you able to unmute?
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yes, you sound great.
Yay.
All right, Kara. Kara, also I should say, Kara Finger's startup is called My Bag, My Story. So Kara Finger is here to tell us about her company. Kara, I'm going to start your time once you begin speaking. You may begin.
Thank you so much for having me. My Bag, My Story was started when my husband and I became foster parents, and every child came to us carrying all of their belongings in a trash bag. When I found out that this was considered a norm, I set out to change that because every child deserves to thrive. We've manufactured great looking, durable bags that we sell through e-commerce and pop-up shops. And for every bag that we sell, we give one to a child in foster care. Kids need to feel like they matter. Carrying a trash bag steals their dignity and self-respect. 25% of children in foster care experience PTSD, and about another 25% of foster youth who age out of foster care experience homelessness. I know that a bag seems like something that's so small and such a small gesture, but it makes a huge difference to these kids. So thank you.
Thank you, Kara, for sharing about that. I was not aware of that either. And I know foster care, we have a really high transient student population here in Nashville. I think we have something like 35% of children in MNPS public schools change schools within a single year. So really high student transient population, really high foster care population. So very applicable to solving a Nashville-based problem. All right, 2 minutes for each of our judges to ask questions of Kara. It looks like Mignon raised her hand. I love, look at all these good students. Got raised hands everywhere. Mignon, Jeremy. Okay, we'll go with Mignon first, and I'll start the time when you begin to ask.
It's definitely a problem that's close to my heart and an experience the Francois family has had. When you're saying My Bag, My Story, and you're selling it, are you selling a different bag to consumers and then something goes to foster children, or are you selling the idea to the public to also purchase? Help me understand a little bit more about that.
So what we did is we manufactured a bag, and that we give the exact same bag that we sell to a child in foster care, because what I found is that most foster children, if they get something, it's usually used. And I want children to feel the value. And so giving them something new that blends in with every other child, something that you and I would carry is something that they would carry, and they feel like they're fitting in and not, you know, having something that's yelling foster care.
What does it look like?
It is a gorgeous, you can go on the website, mybagmystory.com. They're really durable. They're washable. They're solid on the outside and have a really cool inside. We've got bags for boys and girls and unisex.
I was just looking at them. They are amazing.
Yeah, the people that we sell them to love, and the kids that we give them to love them even more. And I love to see the kids smile and hear stories about how kids who are given a bag to put their stuff in versus a trash bag don't feel like trash, and that their dignity and self-worth is saved. Because, and it seems so small, but when you're carrying around a trash bag, it makes a huge difference having something to carry your stuff in other than a trash bag.
How long have you been doing this?
I'm sorry.
How long have you been making these?
We launched in 2019, and we have a manufacturer that manufactures in the United States. And we launched in 2019, and we've been able to give over 800 bags now to kids in the greater Nashville area. And our goal is to expand into every state, because no child deserves to carry a trash bag.
So are they duffel bags?
Pardon me?
Are they duffel bags?
We have duffel bags and we have backpacks. So depending on what the agencies ask for, that's what we give them.
Just understanding the dollars, how much does it cost? I'm not seeing the site now. How much does it cost to buy one, and how much does it cost to make one?
It costs to make one $11.50 for a duffel bag and $12.50 for a backpack. And we sell them right now for $39 for a backpack and $49 for a duffel bag. So they're very affordable. We are in the process of adding a manufacturer and change. The bags are going to stay the same. They're just going to have different patterns on the outside, and they're incredible looking, and the price point is at this point going to stay the same.
Kara, can you increase production and decrease the cost that you pay? If you were to go all 50 states, could you lower that cost but keep the retail cost 49? You're not making any money right now.
Yeah. We can. The problem is that we have to have we need money to grow our e-commerce, to grow our website, to grow our awareness that if you're going to buy a bag, you buy a bag with a purpose. And so somebody, am I still, hello?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay, I just lost the screen. Yes, I mean, the more bags, our manufacturers are sitting on go, ready to manufacture more bags for us. We just have to get to a point that we can sell more bags, which is having more recognition in the community that we are here to sell bags.
I think you should look at the chat. People are saying they want to buy these without even knowing what they cost. Maybe you can raise the price, put some extra money in the bank, and do them more good. Thank you.
The question I had was, I see it's made in the US. Is there something that requires you to continue to make them in the US versus making them somewhere else?
No, I would love to keep them manufactured in the United States because it gives people jobs. And I have 2 adopted children, and one of them is from China, and her orphanage has a high population working in places that make bags out in China. And so I would like to keep everything in the United States.
Okay.
All right, my friends, let us run a little long on Q&A because I feel like we had so many questions. I didn't want anyone to not get asked. All right, Kara, thank you so much. And you've just closed out our launch category. So thank you so much. Let's give it up in the chat for everyone who went in the launch category. Again, that's College Leaps, this app, this online platform to connect students with the tools they need to access college and to create equity across the college pursuit process. EndoShunt, this medical device that is designed to help stop hemorrhaging and ultimately decrease the likelihood of death from this very preventable circumstance of hemorrhage. And then finally, My Bag, My Story, which is a social enterprise, it sounds like, that is designed, a social impact startup that is designed to provide a bag for every bag sold to a child in foster care so that they have the dignity of carrying a bag with their belongings in it. And that moves us on to the up and running category. And the up and running category, as you can see here in the yellow text, these are companies that are 25,000 and above in revenue, companies that are probably figuring out some traction, getting some early adopters and getting some social proof for their concept. And we have 3 companies in this category as well. So first we have Community Connector, then we'll have Newly, and then we will have Think Native. So first up and running is Community Connector. Let's get the founder of Community Connector on the line, Vicki Harris. Vicki, are you out there?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Vicki, as soon as you are ready to begin, I will start your time. You'll get a minute, of course, like everyone else. And then judges will have 2 minutes to ask you questions.
Okay.
All right, Vicki, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Vulnerable individuals with multiple and entwined unmet basic needs, such as housing, food, and transportation, are falling through the cracks of our communities across this state and across the nation. This was a pre-pandemic problem that's only been exacerbated by the pandemic. Community Connector has developed a closed loop referral network solution where we work with existing community-based organizations to help them to improve how they engage with and connect these individuals to all those basic services that they need that exist in the community. The result for the organization is actually improved operational efficiency and community impact. And simultaneously, we decrease the navigation and access burden for vulnerable individuals, which is a contributing factor to them falling through the cracks.
Wonderful, wonderful to hear about that. And I think we all know there's so many nonprofits in Nashville and really endless needs that they're fulfilling. So Vicki, this, as someone who's worked in nonprofits a long time, this sounds so needed and so necessary. All right, judges, you have 2 minutes to ask your questions of Vicki about her platform, Community Connector. You may begin.
Yeah, how do you do that?
How do you do that? We have a hub and spoke model. So we focus on a community-based organization that has a population that likely has multiple needs outside the portfolio of that particular organization. And so we engage with that organization to support them with a technology toolkit that we have that can support the workflows of that organization. And we then build out in this hub and spoke model, the spokes, who are their referral partners that they can link to electronically and share that information digitally.
So are you guys a nonprofit? Is this not this is not something to monetize? This is something to just spread.
No, we are not a nonprofit. We are a for-profit company. And we're actually centering, doing our development now because we're very focused on the need for healthcare and insurers under value-based payment models and at-risk payment models to complete the 360-degree view of their patients as they become more accountable for the total cost, the total utilization and cost of their clients, patients.
Okay.
I don't know if I understand how you get the people in need to the organizations, because, you know, in our business where Lucas and I work, it's pretty easy. We put things on the internet and the people who need it know how to find it because they're on the internet all day, they're buying it. But the people that you're serving may be people who are remote, who are detached, who are not connected. It sounds like it's very one-to-one, like you actually need to go to those communities and help those people where they are. Is that right?
No, we are not directly engaging with the vulnerable individuals. We're engaging with the organizations that provide the service. So we're B2B. We are not
Okay.
B to consumer.
And you're bringing
so the
those
consumers
together?
are already showing up in existing organizations. But when you look at the makeup of the existing organizations in any community, it is fragmented and siloed, not connected, which is not the case of the vulnerable individuals. They usually have multiple entwined needs. So I'm showing up for food, but I also need B and C. And so we are not B to consumer. We're B2B. So we have structured our organization to support the existing community organizations in building out a more person-centric service delivery model around those they serve.
Is there a website that we could check out to learn more about what you do?
I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you, Vicki. All right, that brings us home. Vicki, thank you so much for sharing about Community Connector. And you know, it's not easy to build a tech platform. So if you have any insights for anyone out there who is looking to build a tech platform, you should definitely talk to Vicki about it. She has been through lots of different iterations and thinking about how to make this look appealing to the businesses and easy to use for the businesses and nonprofits she works for. So she works with. So please talk to her about that. Up next, we have Joel Griffith of Newly. Joel, you are ready to go. You've got your background looking awesome. How's your sound?
I think it's okay. Can you hear me?
It's great. It's perfect. 10 out of 10.
Great.
All right. Whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm Joel. I'm one of the co-founders of Newly. Newly creates beautiful home goods out of 100% recycled materials. So we noticed an issue in the manufacturing space, and that was that not enough manufacturers were using recycled materials. And if they were, oftentimes it looked like trash. So we thought, what if we could make beautiful products, A, and B, make them only out of 100% recycled materials? So that was been our mission, and we've stuck to that mission ever since. Our environmental impact to date is that we've diverted over 37,000 plastic water bottles out of the landfill. So this blanket right here has the equivalent of 12 plastic water bottles, and we've continued to do that. We're the first public benefit corporation in Tennessee. In 2019, we became a certified B Corp. And in 2020, we made it through the pandemic and did some custom corporate blankets, and ended up doing a run for Dell. We doubled down on our supply chain challenges, we increased inventory, and now we're ready to scale.
That's really exciting. Also, that blanket looks awesome. That blanket looks wonderful.
Thank
Is that just a general Newly product, or did you make that for a particular company?
No, this is just a general Newly product. Yeah. So
I
we have
love that.
about 10
It's
different
luxe, but it's minimalist. Oh my,
Also-
reversible. Joel,
Yeah.
can I have it? I want that.
You can have
Not in
it.
a bribery way. I'll pay for it, but I want that. All
Okay,
right,
let's do it.
let's make it happen. Oh, Jeremy says he has 2 blankets. Wonderful. The chat is going up for this. Alrighty, so I'm gonna hand it off to our judges. 2 minutes for questions and answers of Joel about Newly and Newly's product base.
Joel, is this something that you're planning on selling only through your website, or are you distributing it to retailers already?
We've been only D2C at this point. Part of our challenge has been margins, because we're using only recycled materials, so our cost is higher. So we've just been D2C at this point. What we found during the pandemic, though, is that the corporate gifting offerings was actually pretty significant. We ended up doing a lot of larger orders. So that's about the only wholesale we're doing at this point. We have plans in 2022 to go into wholesale, but we're working on some of our cost issues before we do that.
Yeah. There are some businesses, clothing lines like, I'm not sure, Marine Layer, if you've heard of them, that do all recycled. It's like, I look at those and I think they would seem to love this product in their store. If they could say everything in their store was that. So I love the idea. So
thank you. Yeah, we love Marine Layer. That's actually one of our top 5 retailers that we'd like to reach out to in the next year.
Yeah, they're great.
What will you do with the money?
So we're a for-profit company. So we're, our mission is to divert as much waste as we can from landfill. So we're basically at this point just pouring back into our supply chain, pouring back into new products, creating new products with, for our 2 phases for growth. What we're looking at is customer acquisition through digital advertising. And then the second is we're working on a picnic or beach blanket that's made out of 100% recycled polyester. And the idea is that this has cotton and polyester, so it would attract leaves or sand. That one would not. It would deflect all of that. Be great for the picnic or the beach, like the beach I have behind me.
So,
go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have a staple item that you have that you could take directly, not a DTC, direct to consumer, but to a retail, that you have that margin in? That's one question. Second question to that is, are you making these domestically?
Yeah, great question. So this is our best seller. This is our cross throw blanket. And I would say this is the one that most people are interested in. And that would be the first one we do. The blankets actually have a better margin than, say, our glassware, which is also 100% recycled. But the blankets are the ones we're offering more in the corporate gifting. And that would be our first venture into the wholesale world. Sorry, the second question, I just blanked.
Are you making them domestically, or are you making them internationally?
Yeah, so the yarn comes from Spain, but then we have manufacturers in the US. So we have a manufacturer in LA, we have a manufacturer in St. Louis. So we're making all the blankets here.
Okay.
Where do you get the trash?
Sorry?
Where do you get the bottles that you divert? Where do they come from?
So the yarn comes from a company in Spain that has been doing this for quite some time. And what they do is they collect all the plastic water bottles from the municipalities they work in. And then they also collect cotton, so old clothes, which are then sorted by color, mechanically broken down. And then the polyester and the cotton are combined into one yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And we purchase the yarn.
Would you have any challenges for scaling it up? Like, let's say you get to retail stores like Target and your volume goes up like 100x. Would you guys be prepared for that?
Yes, we would. I mean, that's why we're putting this off to 2022, because we want to get through this season. And we had some supply chain challenges this year that we're pretty buttoned up on now. We had to find another blanket manufacturer, which we did. We had to lower our costs, which we did. And then we had to work on, as everybody knows, global supply chain issues, and especially logistics was a nightmare. So getting the yarn from Spain, it'd be sitting in the port in New York for 2 months. So once those things have resolved, which they're mostly resolved at this point, now we're ready to go.
All right, thank you, Joel. As you can see, everyone's quite interested in Newly and how you all are making what you're making, and also just the beauty of these goods, the design of them. If you all haven't had a chance to go in the chat and look at the Newly website, please do. Just gorgeous, gorgeous products, super modern and clean. Thank you, Joel. Thank you so much. We've got one person left. Lance, are you out there? Lance Video?
What's up? Hey, guys.
There he is. Okay, Lance Vilio is with Think Native. So Lance is our final pitch of the day. Lance, are you ready?
I am. Let me first just say thanks, EC, for hosting this, and Dell for being a partner in this. This is cool.
Absolutely. It's our favorite thing to do. It's our favorite event. All right, you ready?
Yeah. So I received a call from Vanderbilt Oncology that confirmed one of our greatest fears. The mass in my wife's throat was indeed malignant. That day, we joined 17 million others and 2 million in just that year who had been diagnosed with cancer. While our doctors were world-class at providing for medical needs, we so desperately wanted to talk to a person who had walked through the treatment journey that was ahead. Think Native was created in the wake of this experience. Our central thesis is that the greatest untapped resource in any community, whether that's a business, institution, or organization, are the lived experience of those who've gone before us, often referred to as a peer supporter or a mentor or a community advocate. We started with cancer patient support as the focus, but were quickly sought out by other markets. Our B2B SaaS platform is now the software being used to match and connect addicts with sponsors, newly released incarcerated individuals with re-entering mentors. We all know somebody who's been affected by cancer, dealt with addiction, or possibly even been incarcerated. People we love. These are our moms, our dads, our kids, and sometimes they're our spouses. Together, we can help them find hope by connecting them to a person who's been there before, a person who can champion them and their journey.
Lance, thank you so much. And having 3 very vulnerable populations and populations that are really in need of a lot of support from a community where community is a huge part of healing. So
yeah,
I would love to hand it off to our judges to ask some questions about Think Native. So I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and judges, you can take it away.
I can start. How do you secure quality control with your mentors and sponsors to make sure that the mentorship and sponsor it's actually helping the addicts?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lucas. So a few things. One, each organization provides their own mentors and their own sponsors. And so we come alongside them as the technology partner that provides both a track for their onboarding mentors and an intake process, right, for their mentees.
Who pays for it?
The organization does. So we're fully B2B. Organization, institution, the company, yeah.
So then they're also promoting it, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's fully white labeled. You know, whenever we take on, a client, right, it's fully their brand.
How many members do you have?
Members or clients?
Or clients?
Yeah, we've got about 30 clients. And we
How
started.
much do you charge per client or per user?
Yeah, so to start, it's $850 a month with a $2,500 onboarding fee, and that's for 1,000 seats. So as you can imagine, that goes over quite a bit when working with larger organizations. So like a Susan G. Komen, or if you're in Nashville, like a Men of Valor, these are clients that have a much larger scale, and so that they'll buy more seats for all of their users.
You ran through this in your pitch, but can you tell me one more time your target markets for this?
Yeah, so we started in kind of the cancer patient support, which is called survivorship. And so that's quickly moved out into behavioral health, even some addiction recovery, and then in the incarceration reentry.
So if I'm on
one more question, sorry, go ahead.
If I'm on the other side of that, like if I'm the cancer patient, how do I okay, never mind. I answered my own question.
Yeah, no worries.
I got it. Let's see.
All right, everyone, and we did pop the Think Native link in the chat. So if you do want to check that out, please do. As an organization that does use membership and mentor matching platforms, super interesting to find out there are other local options too that we can use. So thank you so much for sharing, Lance, and thanks for building something here in Nashville that can benefit all of us and also many, many people beyond Nashville. So thank you so much, Lance. And now comes probably the most exciting, I don't know, the pitches are quite exciting, but now comes the judgment time. So now our judges will be taking everything that they saw and heard just now in their pitches, and they're going to be tallying up their scores for each of the teams. So as I mentioned, there's going to be a winner for each category. There's going to be a winner in the launch category and a winner in the up and running category. And just to run down those teams one more time, On the launch side, we had College Leaps, Indo Shunt, and My Bag, My Story. And in the up and running category, we had Community Connector, Newly, and Think Native. And as a reminder, the folks who win on the launch stage will get $4,000 in Dell products and $2,000 in direct financial grants. And the people in the up and running category who win will get $6,000 in Dell products, a $2,000 financial grant. And they will get the opportunity to move into the final stage of the Dell pitch competitions that are forthcoming for other different sites that Dell for Entrepreneurs support, which is super exciting. So you all will do your little tallying and judging. I do have some questions that I'd like to ask from some of the folks who are out there, and then also just to share some thank yous. As a crowd member, you should be receiving a survey, a little poll on your screen where you can vote for your favorite, and you'll vote for the crowd favorite. So first, I just want to thank GP Sources for being part of this. So GP Sources is actually a direct supplier and vendor for many of our entrepreneurs who have consumer goods that they're packaging. They're figuring out how to package it, make it look really beautiful, and also ship it if they're shipping it. And so GP Sources has done a lot for us over the years. And probably one of the companies that's most notable is Felicia Jackson of CPR Wrap, who last year in our Pitch for Good season 1 won the whole big shebang and went on to become the Tennessee Titans Small Business Partner of the Year for her company CPR Wrap, which manufactures a basically CPR sheet that goes over a person's body so that anyone can learn how to do and perform CPR successfully, even in a crisis. They have child, adult, and dog sizes now for CPR Wrap.
Hey, Bryn, really quickly, I promoted Kristen.
Oh, perfect. Kristen's on.
Quickly give
Yay.
an overview of GP Sources. I know
Kristen,
the other,
there?
Jeremy Lee is also here, but they really wanted to send in Kristen, the big
see Kristen's icon.
Hey, Kristen, let me try to.
She's elevated.
Hi there.
Perfect. Hi, Kristen. Yes. Kristen, do you want to tell us a little bit? Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you again. Do you want to tell us a little bit about GP Sources, especially for many of our entrepreneurs? They don't necessarily know, they know their product, they know what they're doing. They don't necessarily know the world of packaging and sourcing and supply chain. Can you tell us a little bit about how you work with entrepreneurs and what that looks like for you all?
Absolutely. So I think the best thing to do when people don't have direction is to be able to go people that can provide the direction. So GP Sources is that for entrepreneurs. So we assist entrepreneurs with, normally they have a design, but if they need help with product development or sourcing, manufacturing, importing of goods on either a domestic or an international level. And so, as of course you met Jeremy, he's our CEO, and we're so excited to be a part of today's Nashville edition since our company started from a Nashville-based entrepreneur. So anyone can reach out. It's Kristen@gpsources.com. And we are always happy to work with people just to give pricing if they need it. And we're in the Madison area, just north of Nashville. So you can stop by anytime.
I love that. I actually just moved right by the Home Depot. That's right. I feel like that's the border between East Nashville and Madison. So maybe I'll just come hang out at GP Sources.
You can come from our offices.
I mean, obviously that's going to be the new spot. But I can't say enough how much it helps to just have sound counsel, and so many of our entrepreneurs struggle to find that. So thank you all. I mean, to give you quotes, generate things, and just to help you understand what this should look like and what you should be asking of someone who is going to help you figure out your shipping and purchasing and product packaging. It's so good to have someone, and so Kristen has been super helpful. So please do reach out to her. And then of course, and thank you, Kristen. We'll talk to you super soon. And thank you, Jeremy, also for being here. Yeah, I mean, this is what, the third or fourth Pitch for Good we've done together, I think.
Yeah, the third or fourth this year.
Third or fourth. So yeah, you guys are keeping it. And then we also have Dell Technologies also, which we are doing this in coordination and conjunction with Dell, who's a deep partner of ours at the Entrepreneur Center also. So we've got YJ, if we just wanted to talk a little bit more about how Dell has been figuring out what their support of entrepreneurs looks like, or if you want to tell us a little bit more about some of the other places where you all are focusing your Dell for Entrepreneurs work.
Sorry to jump in here, but since YJ covered at the top, we'll just chat with Lucas really quickly. Yeah, just we'll chat with Lucas and Henry just for a second, and then we'll move to the next.
Yeah,
one.
because you all represent two different parts of Dell that both interface really directly with the Nashville Entrepreneur Center. Henry representing the Nashville office, and then Lucas representing Dell for Entrepreneurs. So is there something, I mean, I'm curious what made you all want to partner to do this event, because you've been long partners of the EC, but this one is sort of special And I'm curious what you all have learned from working with entrepreneurs and working in Nashville about, you know, your direction as an organization.
Yeah, we are very excited to have you guys in our roadmap of pitch competitions, and also we being part of your Pitch for Good, and our partnership with our partnership with Nashville EC has been growing, and Henry, that he's based in Nashville, he's been like supporting us a lot from the Nashville side, and we are very excited to hopefully start meeting with you guys in person soon. And just a big thank you. Kudos for you guys for recruiting such a great group of 6 startups. All 6 have been amazing. And so just a big thank you for everyone. And for any entrepreneur that wants to learn more about Dell for Entrepreneurs, Dell.com/startups. And if we do have a Dell.com/NEC, where entrepreneurs from Nashville EC can get a special coupons and special pricing.
Which, I mean, there aren't a lot. I mean, everything's so expensive when you're starting a company, especially in the hardware and hard asset space. So we take advantage of the discounts, because I don't know if there are a lot of discounts out there for entrepreneurs, even though we make up a huge component, a huge part of the Nashville economy. So please check out both those links. They're both there in the chat. We just appreciate y'all for being part of it and being helpful and supportive to us too as we go through our own transition over to Dell. It's been really helpful to have you all aboard and to have you be part of our organization. And then finally, Launch Tennessee, which for anyone across the state of Tennessee who doesn't know what Launch Tennessee is, this is a statewide organization that works to direct some of the state's monies and ideas around entrepreneurship across the state at a grassroots level. So Launch Tennessee partners with about 8 different startup incubators, startup and small business incubators around the state of Tennessee, as well as different mentor networks in key industries in Tennessee. And they help support the grassroots, on the ground level entrepreneurship and small business startup development in each of these ecosystems. So we're one of their partners here in Nashville, Tennessee. And we do have a little video, I believe, Jeremy, from Launch Tennessee that highlights their upcoming festival, which if you've never been to, can't recommend 3686 enough. It is probably one of the best entrepreneurship festivals, certainly the best in the Southeast, put on in the US each year. And it is coming up next month. Wait, coming in September, excuse me. All right. And also, as you can see, we're back to being in person for 3686. We were virtual last year, and it was still really impactful. And of course, everyone understood why we needed to be virtual for the safety of everyone participating. But it is back live happening this year in person. And that's something that's super exciting to us, because I don't think anything can really replicate that, even though, of course, we found a lot of ways to do so as much as we can safely, to have some good safe facsimiles of being in person, right? So Jeremy, where are we at in terms of scoring? Do we need any more judge submissions? Are we good?
We're still waiting on Mignon. If you can just press submit.
Are you
been right down to the wire?
And from what I understand, it's really tight. It's
Kanye's
looking
first album.
pretty close, these scores, from what I understand. Okay.
So no pressure.
And I will say too, the voice you're hearing is Jeremy Raley. Jeremy Raley is a program director here at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center. He produces all of the Pitch for Goods and worked directly with many of these teams. And at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, of course, we do pretty much everything related to entrepreneurs, from I have an idea, I don't know if it's a real business, all the way up through, I'm raising my seed fund, my Series A, what have you. And Jeremy primarily works with our high touch, later stage programs. So companies in the Nashville area that are growing rapidly. He has a program called InFlight that he runs that is primarily for folks who are about 50K in revenue and up, whether you're a startup or a small business. And then also a couple different programs for key industries in Nashville, Project Healthcare, which of course looks a lot at healthcare administration and how our healthcare system is administered for patients, and also for centers of medical and health medical and health providers. And then Project Music and Entertainment, which is really all things music, concerts, venues, gaming, sports, anything related to basically how people spend their disposable income, and mostly making those things really refined. So music technology, entertainment technology, venue tech, things like being able to understand what's going on in the stadium and make people have a better fan experience, making super fans, lots and lots and lots of technologies there. And if you want to get involved in anything, if you want to get involved in anything.
Can I just quickly say, I'm just going to quickly say, as we're waiting on Mignon to send that final score, I'm going to start promoting the finalists to the stage, all of them at first, just so that we can get a photo, because we're running right down to the 1 o'clock end of the event. So that means College Leaps, you're coming up. That means Kara, you're coming up. I just don't want to like confuse anything and make it to where, because they're being promoted. All right, the scores are in. Oh, Mignon.
Scores are in. Everyone's on the stage.
Okay. All right. Not everyone's on the stage yet. Let me get everyone.
Joel, Angie. People are getting.
We got it, Mignon. We're good.
Right at the time, I realized I kept pressing submit, and it was asking me for something at the top.
It's okay. Hey, we got it. We're gonna do it real quick.
Okay, we got Olivia and Vicky.
I'm getting everyone to it. So first we're gonna get the picture.
There's Lance.
Okay. So on the count of 3, someone in the audience will get a screenshot. I'm actually gonna change it to a gallery view if we can see it. So on the count of 3, everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. Got it? Okay. And let me put the finishing touches on just one last thing. Okay. Sorry, we have to do it the official way. So much pressure. Let me just make sure I got the right ones. Yup. And yup. And yup. Okay. Good. This is so much fun for you guys. Just watch me.
Angst and anxiety and anticipation.
Right down to the wire. Okay, here we go. Bryn, I might just take it to.
I think you should take it away.
Move it right along. Okay, in the poll. So we now have our 2 judge winners and the crowd favorite. You should be seeing a slideshow now with a drum roll. So that means do your own drum roll in your own time. The first winner of the launch category, once again, this is 0 to 25K in revenue. This individual will be walking away with $2,000 financial grant from the EC, as well as $4,000 worth of Dell equipment. Brrr, my bag, my story. Well done, Kara. Give it up, Congrats, give it up, Kara. Give it up. And next, the big one. This individual will walk away with $2,000 in financial support from the EC, $6,000 with the Dell equipment, and will go on to compete at the big Dell finals. Who do we got? Newly with our friend Joel. You get a blanket, you get a blanket. And finally, the crowd favorite, this individual will get to work with the EC over the course of the next year in a way that's appropriate. You guys spoke. Indo Shunt with Olivia.
Woo, woo, woo.
Lovely job to all of you guys. It takes a lot of guts to put your company out there into the world, and you guys did it, and you should all be proud. And hopefully anyone in the audience today that feels like they can support these companies, that's also why they get up in front of you guys and pitch, because they're looking for that support. So take note, and we'll definitely try to make it easy for you guys to connect if you need to follow up. So I'm going to kick it over to Bryn to close this out. And yeah.
Well, congratulations everyone for pitching. It can be so nerve-wracking, but I really appreciate each of you for stepping up and stepping out and showing with us what you've been doing, sharing with us your company and where you're at. So congratulations to all 6 of you who pitched, and congratulations to the 3 of you who walked away today with a prize. Congratulations. And we'd love to help you. If you're not already part of the EC, we'd love to help you scale it, figure it out, and get you connected to the right mentors, advisors, people who can help you figure out exactly what you're trying to do. And finally, I just want to end with a plug. If you are interested, of course, in being a part of the EC, just come on down, go to our website, ec.co. Jeremy always ends with the best songs. And then I do want to highlight, we do have in person again for the first time in, I guess, a year, 2 years since the last time we ran it in 2019. The next awards are back, which is our celebration of Nashville's entrepreneurial community, and also our induction for the Nashville Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. So it's happening this year, October 25th at the Schermerhorn Symphony Center. It's going to be very fancy. We have talked about it internally that we want people to stunt at this event. So this is your chance to look cute for people you haven't seen in 2 years. So get out there. Tickets will go on sale at the end of next month, and we hope to see you there. If you're interested in buying a table, if you want to get on the red carpet yourself and buy a single ticket, you can do that as well, or 2 tickets. We'd love to see you. So that's it for us today. And we are just really grateful to Dell. We're grateful to Kaufman, Launch Tennessee, GP Sources, Mignon, everyone who's here with us today. We can do without you. So thank you so much. Jeremy and Shelby, thank you for running the back end. And we will see you at the next Pitch for Good in just a short month away. Bye, everyone.
August 26th. Everyone have a great rest of the day. And remember, for those that won today, just because you got more money is more problems. Problems don't go away, they just get harder.
Who's hot, who not? Tell me who rock, who sell out in the stores. You tell me who flop, who cop the blue drop.
All right, bye everyone. Much love.
The same old pimp, Mace, you know ain't nothing changed but my limp. Can't stop till I see my name on the blimp. Guarantee me and shells pull a level up. You don't believe in